Hello and welcome to another episode of Sustainability in Your Ear, the Earth911 podcast. I'm Mitch Ratcliffe. Welcome back, folks. We have another innovator interview, and in fact, it's two innovators this time round. Dr. Beril Toktay, Faculty Director at the Ray C. Anderson Center for Sustainable Business at the Scheller College of Business at Georgia Tech in Atlanta, joined by Michael Oxman, who's the Managing Director of the same center. The organization covers four incredibly important areas of business research: the circular economy and supply chains, social performance and human rights, carbon-conscious business, and sustainability, innovation, and leadership. And welcome to the show, Beril and Michael. How are you today?
We're doing great. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Mitch.
Beril, how did the school start? Who was Ray C. Anderson, and why did he care so much about sustainability?
Ray C. Anderson was, I'm proud to say, a Georgia Tech alumnus from industrial engineering who went on to become a very successful businessman, and he started his own carpet tile company. And a number of years into that, customers started asking, what is your company doing for sustainability? And so he had to stop and think about it. And the more he thought about it, the more insight he got into how much leadership industry could have in creating a sustainable world. And he was a very visionary leader and a very articulate leader who really pushed the boundaries on what it meant for a company to engage wholeheartedly in sustainability. So he, reviewed internal operations, he reviewed energy use, he reviewed product design, of course, not just himself, but with a team, a dedicated team at first, and then by engaging all of Interface, his company. Mm-hmm. And today, Interface stands as one of those visionary companies who's really pushed the boundaries on a number of dimensions, from renewable energy to circular economy to operational efficiency.
We've covered Interface's reuse of materials in tiles and flooring.
That's wonderful to know. So how the center came about and how it came about that it's named after him is that Georgia Tech has long been committed to sustainability as well. Sustainability and energy were two of the strategic directions of the university when I came here back in 2005. And over the years, the Scheller College of Business added faculty who did excellent research and teaching in these areas. So about 6 years ago, we were at a point where we wanted to create a center dedicated to sustainable business here in the college to add to the overall Georgia Tech's mission of taking sustainability forward. And in conversations with the Ray C. Anderson Foundation, which was run by his two daughters, they came to see that this would be very interesting to have his legacy live on in the kind of research and teaching and outreach that we do that puts business and business leadership first. So that really is how the center got started and is fortunate to be named after such a visionary business leader.
And Michael, you teach undergraduate and graduate and postgrads. How many students do you have, and who's coming to Georgia Tech to study sustainability?
In terms of the courses that I teach, they are mostly focused on experiential learning. So the primary course that I teach is a practicum course whereby we provide students with a McKinsey-style strategy consulting methodology, mm-hmm. and they take that methodology and apply it to projects that have come forward from a range of organizations, primarily from the corporate world, but not exclusively. And the students apply the methodology they get from the consulting world to these challenges and work side by side with the companies over the course of the semester to create recommendations and solutions to some of the challenges that they're facing in sustainability. So that's the way the course works, and we've seen an increase in enrollment both at the MBA level as well as at the undergraduate level, and then we similarly teach a set of sustainability modules in the executive education program as well.
So Sustainability as a career choice right now, how do you articulate to students what they are going to be able to do with as a career, or whether career is the right word in the new economy we're emerging into, but a life's work? How much opportunity do you see, and how do you express that to the kids who are coming and thinking about how they're going to make the world a better place?
One of the things that we stress when it comes to careers in sustainability is that there's a set of underlying competencies that are needed these days in order to not only understand the expectations, the increasing expectations that are being put on companies in sustainability, but also to, to meaningfully connect those competencies with core business competencies, for lack of a better term. So someone who's in the accounting world, for example, or in the finance world, needs to have an understanding of how that connects to sustainability reporting. The increase in expectations amongst stakeholders on companies to have reports and underlying strategies for addressing the issues that are identified in those reports really creates a demand for a set of competencies that cut across both traditional business disciplines and sustainability sub-disciplines. So there's, as you know, the topic of sustainability has a broad range of subtopics within it.
Sure.
And so one these days cannot be an expert across all of sustainability. One needs to have an appreciation across the board, but needs to have some more specific knowledge within within those subtopics. So what we tell students is, as they are pursuing careers in this space, is to do two things. One is to take our courses, engage with companies, understand what's happening in the sustainability world, but then also make sure that they have an understanding of the business and the underlying business drivers itself and how those connect with sustainability. So even if a student graduates from Scheller and doesn't necessarily land a full-time job in sustainability, they will be in a role or find themselves in a role where they can contribute to that company's sustainability future outlook, management of risk, management of opportunity, et cetera.
One way that we've articulated this is a career lanes framework that we've developed, where we say, there's a T+, which is you may be in a traditional role like supply chain management or marketing or accounting, and part of your role requires a good understanding of sustainability issues and what you need to do in those core business disciplines. Or you might be in what we call a hybrid role, and these are more commonly found in companies that are more at the center of some of the emerging technologies, such as renewable energy, etc. And again, you might be working in one particular functional discipline, but by pushing forward the agenda and the goals of the company, you're making a contribution to sustainable business. And then finally, there is the specialized sustainability role, which is not going to be the typical role, especially not for an MBA or an undergraduate student graduating from a business school. But it could be that as you move from one lane to another throughout your career, at some point you find yourself in a leadership role, which is purely focused around sustainability. And there are many interesting examples of professionals who have switched lanes like this very successfully. So that's the roadmap that we outline for our students.
And as I was reading up on the center, particularly your carbon reduction challenge, which allows anybody in the school to do an internship or work on a project to identify a way to reduce carbon emissions, is great training for the way that we find ourselves in business today, because you can become a leader by innovating within any organization, as you were just saying. You're preparing these students to go out into the world and recognize opportunities to be more sustainable or more efficient within these organizations. Let's talk a little about how are you teaching the concept of a circular economy, and what companies are joining in that process with you to help the students recognize opportunities to improve the way we do things so that we produce less waste?
So thanks for pointing out the carbon reduction challenge. That's something that we're very excited about. And what we really like about it is that it is, in fact, not an internship which is fully dedicated to sustainability or carbon reduction, but that we're asking our students who have already committed to some internship or co-op in whatever role that may be, to look around, talk to people, identify a carbon reduction opportunity, size the opportunity, put dollars around the opportunity, and then pitch it internally to try to get approval.
Mm-hmm.
And our students really are very good. It's a great learning experience, but they bring a lot of energy already starting out. We have had some tremendous successes in companies ranging from SunTrust to Chick-fil-A to BP and others, where students went in with ideas and they were able to convince the higher ups in the organization to make change.
So they're learning to pitch too.
Exactly. And that comes back to the competencies that Michael was talking about. When we're looking at the sustainability landscape, we need people who are comfortable taking an idea to multiple stakeholders, to making a business case, to pitching and bringing people on board. And so all of these experiential opportunities that we have developed are helping not only make people more carbon literate or circular economy literate, but also help develop those skills.
And Mitch, I would just add to that what all of the things that we're talking about support the two major overarching objectives that we have at the center. The first is to integrate sustainability into both business education and practice. So having those competencies across sustainability and business and being able to seamlessly work between them and connect the dots is one of the things that we're trying to achieve. And the Carbon Reduction Challenge and the Practicum, these are some of the avenues where that plays out, where that happens. The second objective is we look at sustainability as a way to facilitate innovation. So it could be, a startup that a for-profit business that gets going because they want to address a environmental or social issue or challenge,
right.
or perhaps within a Fortune 100 company where they use sustainability as a lens to reassess how they're doing something. So making a change in their business process, for example, or their risk management system, or their opportunity identification approach, using sustainability as a lens to help them do that. So those are the kinds of underlying skill sets that we're trying to impart in order to achieve those two objectives and connect the dots between students and business.
And that makes tremendous sense. I mean, having been in large and small organizations, it's the fact that you are comfortable thinking about these ideas and able to explain them that prepares you to recognize the opportunities that can be funded within a business structure. Now, the circular economy is a really complex idea, and as you've explained, becoming comfortable with that thinking for a business person is a challenge. But how do the businesses start to communicate this to the communities that they live in? And I know that Georgia Tech is deeply involved in the Atlanta sustainability world. Is that a good model for thinking about how to spread the word to the consumer who can help support these businesses with their money?
Absolutely. There is, like you said, a lot of initiatives ongoing in Atlanta around this space. And we are also definitely bringing it into the classroom and into experiential opportunities for our students. One City of Atlanta is one of those partners, and they're also on our expert panel. We have engaged 2 center-affiliated students on that project who have provided great support and research, and it's been a great learning experience for them as well. And this is aligned with our faculty research interests, which are also quite strong in circular economy. So as a center, we are creating these synergies that bring together various stakeholders, and we believe this is a great model for other centers and other initiatives across the country as well.
And do you develop a marketing competence around these concepts so that people are prepared to tell the story of how a company is progressing towards their goals?
Certainly, marketing and communications are very important pieces of telling the story and bringing people on board. And it has, in some cases, been a challenge for companies to take their initiatives and communicate about them or to bring business partners along effectively. So in our executive education offering, for example, we have a module which is specifically focused on sustainability marketing. And we have developed at our undergraduate level a course on sustainability marketing as well. In addition to that, as a center, we strive to take faculty research and to translate that into practitioner-ready thought leadership pieces that can also support various companies in their efforts to provide support, academic support, expert support for the validity of their initiatives. So those are the ways in which we either help our students tell the story or provide expertise so that companies who are engaged in this initiative can tell their story.
So as students are looking at opportunities to study sustainability and considering the Ray C. Anderson Center, what do you think your school's greatest accomplishments are? What are the projects that you would show them to say, this is the kind of thing you're going to be working on?
I was talking to a student yesterday who said she was a pretty discerning consumer of MBA programs, and looking at what we were putting out in terms of communications on projects, etc., she thought we might have a good thing going, but she wasn't sure if it was all show and fluff. But having come here, she has appreciated that we have really deep coursework, that we have close engagement with industry partners, that we have opportunities that engage just one or two students in some cases deeply in projects, and that we have these experiential opportunities like the Carbon Reduction Challenge. So I think it's the package of close engagement with companies, coursework, and experiential opportunities that is the most appealing to students. But Michael, I'm sure, has more to add there.
I would just add that, Scheller College of Business had identified in its strategic plan sustainability as one of the 5, core megatrends influencing the future of business. So there was some, college-wide thinking about the importance of sustainability, and then our center has been able to bring that, to execute on that, if you will, to bring that to bear, both in terms of the faculty research that is done, and also in terms of the coursework and the experiential learning in the Carbon Reduction Challenge, as well as in the practicum course as well. So we have had, anecdotally, we've had a number of students who have told us that they actually decided to come to Scheller because of the center and its focus on sustainability. So in that sense, it's created a differentiating opportunity for students who are very interested in learning more about sustainability and how it fits within business.
So let me ask, in the environment we live in right now, the social, political, and economic, do you feel like we are poised for a major change in the way the economy operates, or do you feel a genuine concern that we're not going to make that turn? And where do you see the role of the school in helping us make the turn?
Well, what makes me very optimistic is the energy and passion of our students. And where we can make the biggest difference as educators is to engage them, to cater to their interests, and to help them think more deeply, more effectively, engage with stakeholders with knowledge and the ability to debate across various perspectives. So with everything that we're doing and with what I see from our students, I'm quite optimistic.
I would support that. I would also add that just if you look at corporate sustainability trajectory over the last 10 to 15 years, we have come quite a long way from this being sort of a niche area of focus, something that may have been the focus of a couple of people within a given company, to something that has become very mainstream and very embedded in business planning and strategy and execution. Not to say we don't have a long way to go, because we do. But I also think that if you look over the last 10 to 15 years, there's been a significant amount of progress. And you do see that both in companies and observing their behavior and the way in which they manage risk and think about opportunity going forward, irrespective of what's happening in the broader political climate. And then, as Beril said, among our students, just in my short time here, I have noticed that students taking our courses have a much more aspirational view of sustainability than when I first got here, which was more how does sustainability help us manage risk? Now I see students coming into class who want to understand how can business actually make a difference and move the needle. So that's very encouraging.
This has been a very encouraging discussion. Thank you, Beril and Michael. We've been talking with Dr. Beril Toktay and Michael Oxman, who are respectively the faculty director and managing director of Georgia Tech's Scheller College of Business's Ray C. Anderson Center for Sustainable Business. And we thank you for joining us on Sustainability in Your Ear today.
It's been our great pleasure. Thanks so much for having us.
We thank you, Mitch. Appreciate it.
And folks, we'll be back with another innovator interview soon. Take care, everyone.